Yes. Now we're live. There we go. That's how it's. There we go. Right, lads. Sunday live stream. Plenty to talk about. Plenty to talk about. Let's get a few people in the chat. I already got a few questions up on screen. Let's get a few people in the chat, and we'll see how this goes. We'll see where the evening takes us. Make sure. Yeah, no, that's not muted on both ends. That's the main thing. Always worried about that. So there we go. You get a few people in here. I'm telling you now, right? Last few live streams, they've been long. Like I'm talking, Jesus, how long have the last few been? Like some been in the high hours and then in the 2 hours. Don't know if we're going to get it like that this time, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how this one goes. So yeah, this was meant to literally. I thought I'd only be talking about Kell Brook today. I thought I'd only be talking about Kell Brook. We've got a lot of talk about. We have the Joshua Franco fiasco with Andrew Maloney. Obviously, that was bullshit. What happened last night with that? And we also have Dave Allen retiring, which I was quite surprised about. I didn't see that coming. That's one thing I got to say. I did not see that coming at all, at least today anyway. I mean, him retiring, not, man, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. I mean, the guy was, oh boy, the guy is definitely, he's taken his fair few beatings over the years. I think that's definitely clear. So him retiring, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm not gonna be losing sleep over Dave Allen retiring, I'll tell you that much. But yeah. We touch on the first one, which is obviously Kell Brook. Kell Brook, man, he needs to get out of the box. Man, he's done. He is done. All right. He is. Look at it. Fighters only retire till they go broke, so not for long. Yeah, like you could say that about Allen, you could say that about Brook. With Kell Brook, he needs to retire because there's nothing left. There isn't anything left anymore. I think it's fair to say that he is finished. And I like Kell Brook, I do, but the punch resistance seems gone. I mean, I'm just wondering, right? If that was the Kell Brook, I'm not saying, look, that shot, I wasn't the one getting hit by it. I don't know how hard it was. But let's just say, for argument's sake, right, that was Kell Brook, 2015, right? Kell Brook in 2015. If he took that shot, that Kell Brook in 2015, I don't think, honestly, I don't even know if it would have staggered him. He might have been hurt, he might have felt it, but I don't think he would have went down. I think he would have just took that shot, the Kell Brook of 5 years ago, and just kept on going. The problem with Brook was, first round he looked good, landed some jabs on Crawford, and then what happened then was Crawford just saw what Kell Brook was doing and was like, all right, you're going to do this. Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm going to adjust. I'm going to switch the stance. I'm going to take your jab away. What do you have now? And it was literally like Kell Brook just was like, shit, I've got nothing. And, Kell Brook still had success. 2 of the 3 judges had him ahead by the time of the stoppage. But for all intents and purposes, that was all she wrote. I mean, Kell Brook was not even though Kell Brook was doing well, you could kind of tell the writing was on the wall early on that this fight was not going to go a long time. You could kind of tell. And I was surprised. Like, I did think Kell Brook would get stopped, but I honestly thought he would he'd take some, if you know what I mean. I honestly thought that he'd take a few rounds, like a good few rounds of just, trying to, match fire with Terence Crawford. And that he would eventually just decide, not decide, but you know what I mean? Like, eventually the wheels would just come off and the wear and tear would kind of start catching up to Brook. And then we'd see him get out of there. But, I mean, that fight told me that Kell Brook at this stage he's a shell of himself. He's been a shell of himself for a while now. I mean, I'm planning on doing a video because I'm not planning on doing, I keep saying this and I mean it this time, that I'm not planning on doing this live stream for longer than an hour and a half anyway, because I want to record some videos for tomorrow. And one video I want to touch on is just the way Kell Brook's career has been managed. And like, here's the thing you need to remember, right? It's easy. Bring the camera in. it's easy to that was weird. Yeah, it's easy for someone to come out and say that, oh, Eddie Hearn has screwed Kell Brook's career over and stuff like that. And, I'm sure Eddie Hearn putting him in a fight with Triple G and this, that, and the other. It's definitely not helped his career. It's not helped prolong his career and anything like that. But it's not. Eddie Hearn didn't put a gun to Kell Brook's head and say, "You need to take this Triple G fight. You need to take the." These were Kell Brook's choices. Do you remember, right? When Kell Brook was set to fight Spence, or before Kell Brook was set to fight Spence, when Kell Brook was the mandatory for the IBF, does everyone remember Eddie Hearn was the guy saying, move up to 154 pounds? Yeah, move up to 154 pounds. But it was Kell Brook who decided, no. I'll defend my title. I'll take that weight off. I'll go in there with a 10-pound rehydration clause and I'll fight Errol Spence. So at the end of the day, you can say that. I always bring the water with these live streams. You could say all you want that, Eddie Hearn has done this, he's done that for Kell Brook, it's because of him, X, Y, and Z. Yeah, like Eddie Hearn he's definitely not, Eddie Hearn hasn't helped Kell Brook's career, but Kell Brook has to look at himself and say one of the reasons why these things have happened has to be down to you. I mean, I always look at the Jesse Vargas situation, and I'll pick up a few people in the chat now in a minute. But I always look at the Jesse Vargas situation, right? Jesse Vargas and Kell Brook were in discussions to fight in 2016. That would have been a unification, okay? Now that fell through. Kell Brook would have been getting something, I think they said something like 500-600 grand. Instead, he decided to take the Triple G fight for, 4 million. So he's well paid. That's fair enough. He's well paid, right? But Jesse Vargas, I think it's fair to assume Kell Brook would have won the fight. Who did Jesse Vargas go on to fight instead of Kell Brook? He went to fight Manny Pacquiao. If Kell Brook had fought and beat Jesse Vargas, potentially you could have had a Manny Pacquiao fight there. And I think even Manny Pacquiao in 2016, that would have paid him very good money. I mean, Sky would have done that on pay-per-view, irrespective of where it would have been. And Pacquiao was still useful in 2016, it had to be said. But bear in mind, he beat Jesse Vargas. His next fight was against Jeff Horn. He lost. So who knows what might have happened with Kell Brook back then. So I always look at Brook's career and I just think that, well, the video, I'm trying to think of what name I'm going to call it. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to upload it tomorrow. I'm trying to think what I'm going to call it. But the way I look at Kell Brook is he was someone who how do I describe it? He was one of those boxers who wanted to be a world level fighter without living an athlete's life, if you know what I mean. That's the best way to describe it. He wanted to have his cake and eat it. So, he wanted to do all the party and get smashed and what and do all that. If anyone's ever heard that WhatsApp message, he wanted to do all that shit, but he also wanted to be a world level fighter at the same time. And you can probably do one or the other. You can't do both. One's going to catch up with you, catches up to everybody. So, and at the end of the day, yeah, he wanted the big fights. He wanted the big paydays instead of maybe being sensible and maybe taking, okay, look, maybe fighting Jesse Vargas won't pay as much as Triple G, but look at the end run. Like, look at the long run. If you think about it in a sense of, right, if you just stay here, you're walking, but that walk will lead you here. But if you run, right, you can go and like run. And what I mean by run is literal sense is run forward. You can run, but you might hit a brick wall. And that's how I like in Kell Brook's kind of career at this stage. He hit a brick wall in Triple G, and it's just, he's never got past that wall. So we got Rich in the chat, big up, hashtag G-Man's Rocks. Yes. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. Devin Sinclair, yeah, there you go, man. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks all the way. We got Helen in here, G-Man's Rocks, of course, man. Big up every time. Big up every time to you, lads. Dave Allen retired because of Usyk. You were right, something did happen. Yeah, I didn't see the full IFL interview. I seen like the first 5 minutes of it, and he said that Usyk pretty much, he said he knocked him unconscious, but he said he finished the round. So it sounded to me, yeah, he said he got out of the ring and he didn't remember. It sounds to me like he got concussed. That's what it sounds like. So it sounds to me, and imagine this, right? So he would have been sparring Usyk, and that sounded like a concussion. When you say he gets out of the ring and he's not remembering stuff, and that sounds like a concussion to me. So with Dave Allen, you got to figure and to think, right. And look, I'm having to go with Eddie Hearn here. Eddie Hearn wanted to put him in there with Christian Hammer. The man could have had definitely sounds like he had a concussion, maybe still does. Obviously, Christopher Lovejoy, that probably would have been a nice little easy fight, but still, they wanted to get the man fighting with a concussion. It's never a good sign. You know, he's done it before, probably. I mean, lest we forget, he had that terrible beating against Tony Yoka, and he was in the ring. How many weeks later? He fought Yoka in June, end of June, and he fought the end of July was when he fought Nick Webb. So Dave Allen has a history of going into fights when he really shouldn't be, when there's serious damage there. And you know, you gotta wonder how that's one thing I wonder, like how many fighters, right, in sparring go into like a training camp or go into a sparring camp with a fight ready, like with a fight planned, and they maybe get concussed or they get knocked out in sparring. It's not going to get reported, and they're going into the ring, you know, with a bad concussion or, you know, some serious, you know, bit of trauma there, bit of minor trauma, but still trauma nonetheless. I wonder how often that happens. But definitely from what Dave Allen was saying in that IFL interview, it sounded like he got a concussion all right. It sounded like he was concussed by Usyk. And, you know, he said 1 minute he was unconscious, but I don't think he was actually like down, knocked out cold. I think Usyk just hit him real hard, and just he saw black. Maybe he saw just nothing. As he said, he doesn't remember finishing the round, but he did finish it. But he remembers sitting on the ring and just not remembering what happened then. So, you know, that's not good when you're hearing that. It sounds like he was concussed actually, which again, it makes me kind of wonder why he would have gone. Well, if Christian Hammer hadn't tested positive for Rona, and if Lovejoy hadn't been a fool, that's the word I used, a fool, then he would have gone in and fought. He probably would have beat Lovejoy. He would have beat Lovejoy, definitely, to be fair. But well, Hammer he wouldn't have beaten, irrespective of a concussion or not. I don't think he would have beaten Hammer. So, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting to think, like, but it's crazy. It's crazy to think. It's crazy to think that Usyk had people question his power, but if you're hurting Dave Allen, he obviously hit hard enough. Also, latest Wilder might fight Tyson next year. Yeah, I seen that, man. I seen the Tyson Fury fight is dead in the water for like the 5th of December. So I don't know what Frank Warren's going to do, whether he's going to put Anthony Yarde versus Lyndon Arthur as the main event, or whether he's just going to keep it as is. But that seems dead in the water now, man. That fight seems dead in the water. Fighters only retire if they go, yeah, I read that, man. I read that. Could you see Crawford eventually moving up? Possibly. I think 147 is that's perfect for him. I don't think he needs to go any further. I think that 147 is just about spot on. You know, if he goes up to 154, I mean, they're big guys, man. They're big guys at that weight. So if he goes up to 154, I don't know, man. I think like at some stage the skill becomes. Look at Lomachenko, way too far. You could fight someone who's just a little bit too big for you. I think that might happen if Crawford moves up. True, every dog, Kell Brook, every dog has his day. Yeah, he does. He does. I mean, like Kell Brook fought. Kell Brook has had an okay career. You know, he has, but there's so much more that could be done there. You know, there's so much more he could have done. Man, it's just that's like Kell Brook is just such a. When you look back at his career, like I'll be looking back at it later and I'll be doing a little video on it. It's just like it's so much potential there, but you just never fulfilled. A bit like Billy Joe. Like Billy Joe could do so much more than he's done. I know he's a 2-weight world champion, but you just feel like you'll never fully see the potential done. You'll never see the potential there. People said Duran was done after Hearns, Pacquiao after Marquez. Some fighters can regain their chin. I'm not saying Brook can, but in boxing, people right. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that people can do that all right. And look, I'd love it if I'd love to see Kell Brook do something else, but I just don't see it, man. I think that Kell Brook, I can't see it. I think those guys, I know Roberto Duran could blow up in between fights and all that, but I just think that Kell Brook just lived such a bad lifestyle. He's lived a lifestyle that is not. He's lived a lifestyle not conducive for a long career. That's what I'm thinking. I think his lifestyle isn't conducive to him having a long career. So that's just what I'm thinking. I can't see Kell Brook, even if he moves to 154. I just, if he stays at 154, so I just can't see him doing anything at that weight either. Yeah, the head Crawford wants Pacquiao next. Yeah. Oh man, that fight's been talked about for years now. Years now that fight's been talked about. I'd always pick Crawford to win that fight, definitely. You feel it was a mixture of a good shot and the punch resistance diminishing. Yeah, I think you're spot on. I kind of think that as well. Fair play, much quicker finishing him off than I thought. I thought, and I had it in the prediction league, that I think I said it would be 10 or 11 rounds. And yeah, I genuinely thought it would be 10 or 11 rounds. And I really did. I was like, definitely 10 or 11 rounds. And I'm surprised, obviously he's not, this is a diminished Kell Brook, it's fair to say. But still though, Kell Brook has always shown a decent chin. And to be stopping him in 4 rounds, getting rid of him like that, it's good going by Crawford. It is. It's very good going by Terence Crawford. Fair play to Terence Crawford. I give him that. Cool. I'll also do one for Dave Allen LOL video. I've already done a video on Allen retiring. We won't keep batting that drum. I've no other videos on Allen planned. But I actually am quite surprised. Well, not surprised, but I did say it in that video I done today that I reckon that the main reason he was retiring was because of the sparring with Usyk, because that maybe he felt that he couldn't hang with those guys. I didn't actually think that it would be something like that. I didn't actually think it'd be something like that where it was, Allen getting seriously hurt by Usyk. I thought it was something that just the skill gap was so great that he just thought, you know what, I'm swimming upstream here. So that's kind of what I thought when I heard about that. That's kind of what I thought. I genuinely, that was what I thought. I thought like Usyk had him in camp and he was just like, all right, this might be good. And then it was like, whoa, this guy is like significantly better than me. I need to call it quits. But it's weird, like, him getting yeah, it's just weird. It's weird, like, I wouldn't have thought Usyk would have been able to hurt Dave Allen like that. And by his own admission, he said, look, he was hurt bad. He didn't know where he was after the spar. So damn, I didn't think that. I didn't think that would happen. Brook, I haven't sworn much, so I'm not going to say it. Brook, you know what himself. I think I've only sworn once in this live stream, so I might be all right. I might be all right to monetize this. I've not sworn much. A career at welterweight up, goes to middleweight. Yeah, that's what I said. And goes back down to fight Spence. Ends up a super welterweight. Then back. Yeah, a big up. I didn't actually give big you up yet, but big up to JPK World. As always, big up to you, my friend. Big up. Glad to have you in the chat. Yeah, he has. There's no other way you can describe it. Like, I mean, look at those weight fluctuations. They're silly. You go to welterweight, you're big welterweight. You go to middleweight, you go back down to welterweight. You go 154, and you go back down to welterweight. I mean, like, people were saying that Tony Bellew, even though he was weighing in the 2 teens when he was fighting David Haye at heavyweight, but remember there was people saying that like not having to cut, his body won't be able to handle it. And Tony Bellew was never someone who struggled to make 100 or 200 pounds. He was never known as someone. He was known to struggle at light heavyweight. That's fair enough, but he's never known to struggle at 200 pounds. And people were saying, oh, he's gonna find it real hard. Not having to take that weight off, to having to take it off. It's the same for Kell Brook. You're just like, you're taking this weight off now, and he looked horrible at the weigh-in. He looked absolutely drawn. He looked horrible at the weigh-in. It looked like he really did. Like he always looks bad at welterweight, but like, I don't know. When I saw him at that weigh-in, I was just like, this is not going to end well. Now, saying that, as I said, I thought it would end. I didn't think it would end well, but I thought it would end a lot later than it did. I was surprised about that, but all those weight fluctuations. And one thing I said, right, I didn't actually say this in the video, but if you look at his fight against Zerafa, he weighed in at 150 pounds. And I think even that affected him. like, I know you're talking 4 pounds, but still 4 pounds is still 4 pounds when you're cutting a lot of weight and you're losing the weight. I think one of the reasons why he looked so shaky against Rafa, because he wasn't that inactive in 2018. He had a fight in March, he then had a fight in December. It's not like you're talking he'd no fight between the Spence fight and then. So he took an extra 4 pounds off, had 4 pounds extra to rehydrate, and he looked a bit shaky against Rafa. I think that was you could even see the signs then that 154 was his. He couldn't go down much further. He might be able to make welterweight, but he really shouldn't. And there you go. We saw what happened. Crawford 5-0 coming up from 140. He hits harder. Big up the Hashman, by the way. I forgot to big up the Hashman every time. Go check out Hashman's channel as well. Hashman just started uploading videos as well. Big up to you, my friend. Oh, he hits harder than Spence, in your opinion? I wouldn't necessarily say he hits harder than Spence. I think Spence is a bit like Crawford. Like, he's not a massive puncher. He's a fair puncher at the weight. Crawford's definitely not feather fisted. Definitely not. Crawford definitely not a feather fisted fighter. I think that but in terms of like the top punters at welterweight, I wouldn't probably put Crawford up there, but definitely 100% Crawford is a good puncher. There's no doubt about that. And there's no doubt, I've no doubt that he could hurt Errol Spence if they fight, if and when they fight. Seriously. No doubt that he could hurt Errol Spence. Definitely. And I've no doubt that he could hurt some of the other top welterweights. Like, if he fought Keith Thurman, he'd be hurting Keith Thurman. If he fought Danny Garcia or Sean Porter, I think he could hurt them too. Definitely. Terrence looked good, in your opinion, last night. Probably would have done him good to have a few more rounds. Not necessarily. Like, yeah, he's been inactive. He hasn't fought in nearly a year, but I suppose, as they say, you don't get paid overtime. And I think he was fine. I think that he made a statement by doing that. Although, as I said, it was not the best Kell Brook. He made a statement nonetheless. That's what he needed to do. Big up to Ra, hashtag G-Man's Rocks, of course, every time. Yes, the boxing sauce. Yes, brother, every single time. I love these fantasy fights. We got CGB. Who wins? Prime Andre Ward or Prime Calzaghe? It's a good fight. And I've been asked that a few times. My opinion on that fight never changes. I always say the exact same thing. If I had to pick, I would say Andre Ward wins on points. I think that Calzaghe could cause Andre Ward a whole heap of problems. But I think Andre Ward is just so technical. He'd read Calzaghe. He would take it to the inside. I think Andre Ward beat Calzaghe on points. Very close decision, though. Very close. But I'd go with Andre Ward in that fight. How many we got in the chat? We got 38 in the chat. And how many likes we got? How many likes we got? We got 38 in the chat and only 14 likes. If you haven't smashed the like button, people, as always, I'm not going to ask for it much in this chat. I'm not going to ask for it much. But if you haven't, please smash the like button. We try and get the algorithms working. We get the algorithms in our favor. So 13 likes with 42 in the chat. Smash the like button, people. Please, if you could, I'd much appreciate it. Call it Legacy of Brook, Kell Brook. I don't know what I was going to call it. I was thinking of names. I was like, I was going to call it Kell Brook Walk When You Should Run or something like that. Or no, not Walk When You Should Run. Walk Instead of Run. But I'm not sure. I'll call it something. Kell Brook is the face of British boxing. Look what just Jesus. No, I remember Kell Brook at one stage, when he was coming up on the rise, on those matchroom shows. They really were bigging him up. They really were bigging. He was good. You could see that. I don't know what I'm going to call tomorrow's video. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, but I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go along. Like, I make a lot of the names for these videos up as I go along. So I'll figure out what I'm going to call it tomorrow. It's not going to be a WTF video. I won't do that till next month because I do them WTF videos monthly. I only do one a month. So I won't do Kell Brook next probably anyway. I don't know who I'll do. I haven't even considered who I'm going to do next for the WTF. The next long thing I have to do is a podcast because I have to do my monthly podcast for Patreon this month, which I'm going to do probably this week. I'll record that. But I'll figure out the name of that tomorrow. Usyk rocked them bad. Alan, look at Alan's Insta. I don't have an Instagram page, so I don't know. I have to have a look at that. Intangible, big up Intangible every time. Shout out to you, my mate. I am in shock and sadness and distraught about Dave Allen's retirement. Like us all, bro. Like us all. Yeah, we're all very, very sad that Dave Allen decided to call it quits. Very, very sad. You know, is anyone really like? I mean, he really should have called it. Well, I suppose. Would you count the Doughty and Dart? The Doughty and Dart fight was a shit show. He didn't do anything. But after David Price, he really should have called it quits then and there. He took a bad beating in that fight. He really should have. He really should have called it quits then and there after the David Price fight. He took a bad beating. He needed to go to hospital. There was no need to carry on at that stage, you know. I think that really showed Dave Allen how far off the boil he was with regards where he was going and like in terms of his career. That really showed just kind of where he was. So he should have really retired then and there, but he's retired now, and that's all she wrote. And damn, Usyk really hurt Dave Allen in that clip. I haven't seen it. It's actually on his Instagram page. Does he actually have a clip of him like getting buzzed by Usyk? Because I'll go and watch it if I can get a link or something to it. I know I don't have an Instagram page, but I think you're allowed to watch like a video. You can watch maybe a video or two before they tell you need an Instagram page. So I'll have to go and check that out. I wouldn't mind checking that out because I'd be interested to see it. Because Allen is known for having a granite chin. Like, I mean, when you consider Ortiz couldn't put a dent in him, White couldn't put a dent in him, Yoka did hurt him, but still Yoka couldn't really. It was only because he took a beating for 10 rounds. Who else couldn't put a dent in him? Price, he couldn't really put a massive dent in him. So if Usyk's doing, like as Turtle here says, retiring heavyweights, then I want to see it. Allen walking forward with his hands down. I don't get it. The man just wants to get hit. Like, I don't and this is the thing about Dave Allen, right? He says he's tired of getting hit. Well, learn how to move your head, learn how to keep your hands up, learn the fundamentals of defense, and that will stop you. Not only will it stop you getting hit, it'll also prolong your career. You know, you kill two birds with one stone, right? So that's all he needs to do. Graham, Hamed, and now Brook, the best talents from the Ingle gym to underachieve. Yeah, Harold Graham should have won a world title. He didn't, unfortunately. Nas found his. Nas should never have left the Ingle gym. He shouldn't have. And then we've Kell Brook, who, yeah, like Brook's an underachiever if ever I seen one. He's won an IBF world title. He's got to world level. He's won a world title. He's got a good win over Sean Porter. But damn, he just didn't do anything after that. Like, really, all he did was take fights he shouldn't have, get beaten, and now we talk about Kell Brook now in the what if. Give me 1 sec there, peeps. I'm staying on. I just want to move the camera for 1 sec. Just like real itchy. I don't want that camera messing up on me. There we go. Yeah. So Kell Brook, he's an underachiever, man. What can you say? Usyk had Allen wobbled. I have to see this clip. I have to go on Instagram when I finish this and just try and get that clip and just see it. So I want to see what it looks like. That is crazy. We got Devon Sinclair. What's mad about the clip with Usyk and Allen is they were wearing 16-ounce glove and Allen was gone. In the interview, he also said a girl rocked it. Really? That's when he said it was over. Jesus. That is bad, man. That's saying that his punch resistance is completely gone. Like, completely. Sorry, people. Just itchy. My knee is. That's why you wear ripped jeans. You don't have to do anything. You can just you can scratch at the skin. That's saying to me his punch resistance is completely gone. I mean, you have to kind of expect that, like, given how many like beatings he's taken. But seriously, man. I mean, you're getting buzzed by women now. I mean, Jesus, that is not good. That is not good at all, man. That is really bad. But no, and as Devin said there, like, they're wearing 16-ounce gloves, right? So you're telling me that in 16-ounce gloves, a guy who's been in there with Dylan White, right? A guy who's been in there with Dylan White in 10-ounce gloves wasn't hurt. A guy who fought Ortiz in 10-ounce gloves wasn't hurt. Fights Usyk or spars Usyk, probably with headguard on as well, who is not a massive puncher, well, not known as a massive puncher heavyweight, and gets rocked badly. That's not good, man. That's not good at all. And we got Kieran, big up G-Man, hashtag G-Man's rocks. Lads, we got Mini Max in the chat. Shout out to you, man. Check out Mini Max Boxing as well. He's a YouTube channel, great little YouTube channel. Big up to him every single time. I hope you're well, mate. Thoughts on Comey versus Jackson Martinez? Jackson Martinez, I've seen a few times. I've never really rated. He's coming off a loss, isn't he? He lost his last fight, as did Comey. But Richard Comey, I always rated Richard Comey. I actually thought he'd do better against Teofimo than he did. But obviously, Teofimo, we know, is very good. So I would edge towards Comey in that fight. Jackson Martinez never really done much for me. He definitely lost the last fight. He definitely did. But I've seen Jackson Martinez a few times. I go Richard Comey in that fight. Is it announced or when is it happening? When is it happening? Brook is done as a pay-per-view level fighter, but he's not finished. Oh God, yeah. Well, to be fair, like, when's the last time he was on a pay-per-view, or when's the last time he headlined a pay-per-view? Was Spence. So he was pretty much done after that. He's not finished. He could still have good fights against Liam Smith. Yeah, I reckon they'll do something like that. If Kell Brook comes back and has maybe one last fight, just so he doesn't end on a loss, they'll probably do like Liam Smith or someone like that. In fact, I can pretty much, yeah, I'd say they get him in there with someone like a Liam Smith or someone like that, just to give him that win, and let him sail off into the sunset. Maybe Eddie Hearn would do it. Although saying that, Liam Smith is trained by Joe Gallagher, isn't he? And Eddie Hearn and Joe Gallagher are really not on good terms. Really not on good terms these days. So who knows where they could do that fight? Who knows where they do it? And Liam Smith, like, his career has really been stagnant. He had that headline show on his first Matchroom show against Egerton, and he's fighting Ashley Fiafane. Jesus, I don't want to see that. He's fighting Ashley Fiafane. But Liam Smith had that first fight against Sam Egerton, and then he's done nothing since then. He's been on undercards ever since. So Liam Smith not been doing much. But we go. I think Crawford wants Pacquiao before Spence, so they have two belts and it's 50-50. I can't see him fighting Pacquiao. I really can't. I just think at this stage now, Pacquiao just wants the most money with the less risk. He wants one fight just to get his last payday and cash out. That's what I'm thinking Manny Pacquiao is going to do next. Alan Dolan, it was all about Alan Babbage now. Yeah, Alan Babbage versus Tom Little. I mean, Alan Babbage has had 3 fights. Will have had 3 fights this year. Shondale Winters, Niall Kennedy, Tom Little. Not great, it has to be said. Shondale Winters was the best out of the 3, definitely. He blew him out in 2 rounds. He fought Kennedy, who never really trained for that fight. And then he's fighting Little. Little is probably the most shot out of the 3, I would have to say, just because he's lost his last few fights. He's been stopped early in them as well. Winters had a bit of talent. I think Winters just got overwhelmed. And as I said, Niall Kennedy, in spite of what he'll tell you, he didn't train properly. That's a fact. Kell Brook needs to retire. Yeah, he does. Kell Brook needs to retire, or else maybe have one fight against someone who is not going to cause him any problems. Ideally, you think before he retires, we'll call it Amir Khan. No, I think he's given up on that. I think Kell Brook's given up on that. You think Usyk is a sharp puncher? Usyk is very accurate. And don't underestimate, like, you might not be the biggest puncher, but if you're hitting these guys consistently, then you're going to cause some damage. You're going to get stoppages. If you're hitting them repeatedly over and over again, and your punches aren't tickling, you're going to get stoppages. You know, and Usyk, I don't believe he's feather-fisted at all. No way. 41 in the chat, peeps. If you wouldn't mind, I'm asking, but if you could, smash the like button. I'm not going to ask as much in this because I asked a good bit in the last one, but it does help, believe you me. It gets the video higher, or the stream higher on the YouTube algorithm, so the channel gets recommended more. That's why I always ask, because it genuinely does help. Thoughts on Cullen versus Doherty? I was actually picking Cullen going in. Very happy with the result. I was surprised. Like, I'd watched Doherty a few times. I thought Doherty was a good looking like prospect in terms of how he was being built. So I thought Doherty would go in there and do a job on Joe Cullen. I really did. I really did think he would. I thought Joe Cullen's easy to hit. His stage, his defense isn't great. And bear in mind, right, Doherty is a natural 168 pounder. Joe Cullen is the guy moving up. And against Chelly, he was like underweight by like 3 pounds, something like that. So I was like, nah, I thought Doherty would win, and he didn't. And Joe Cullen boxed very well, apart from the first 30 seconds of the first round where he got dropped. And to be honest with you, I think it was more balanced. It looked to me to be more balanced than anything else. He looked very much in control of that fight. Very, very in control. And I actually thought the scorecards were a little bit too close for my liking. I thought Joe Cullen won the fight fairly comfortably. So that's good for Joe Cullen. And apparently he's not even promoted by Eddie Hearn. He's not on a deal or anything with that. So he was saying in his IFL interview that, like, sign me up, Eddie. I think he's earned that at the end of the day now. I think he's definitely earned that. Was it Joe Cullen who was meant to be fighting Jamie Cox? If it was, I think it was. If it was, they could maybe get that fight done. And honestly, I'd be going with Joe Cullen in that fight. I would. Jamie Cox is not that good at all. You're pretty sure Allen's punch resistance was domested by Price. Was dismested. Is that how you say it? Dismested by Price. Before the fight, he looked like he could take anything. Now he's being rocked by girls with 16-ounce gloves. I think maybe it's more just a combination of everything, mate, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, the guy takes shots left, right, and center in sparring. I'd say that there's only so much you could probably take before the chin just starts saying enough's enough, before the chin just says, you know what, fuck it. No, enough's enough. And I reckon something like that happened. Because I am Usyk hurting someone in sparring, well, believe it. But like giving Allen like a concussion to the point where he doesn't know what's going on. That's not good. That's showing me that, bit like Kell Brook, it's showing that the punch resistance is well and truly gone. Well and truly his punch resistance is gonzo. So that is what that is. BBC reporting Fury not fighting in December anymore, but maybe I'm late to this story. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. Big up to George. And as CGB Boxing says, it was confirmed on Twitter. It's unfortunate. He's not fighting in December. I actually, to be honest with you, I actually did think we probably would get to see it. I really did think we would get to see it, but we're not seeing it now, unfortunately. I kind of expected that at this stage, just because what date is it? It's like the fucking 15th of November, and we've had no fight announcements. So to me, that was like a smoking gun that we ain't getting any fight. What does Kieran say? Smash that fucking like button. There you go. Exactly. And I want to big up a few of the lads. I see a few of the lads down the bottom of the screen. So I got to big them up. I always big up the regulars. So I got to big up Tony. Just got the notification. Much respect, G-Man, in the chat. Big up to Tony every single time. Glad you're locked in. Glad you got the notification this time. Had me worried there when you said it didn't get notification last time, but you got it this time. Big up to you, my friend. Dan, every time, big up. Shout out to you. Shout out to Dan. You should go look at some of the videos Dan's been uploading. They're insightful. They're good. They're definitely good. Looking forward to the new one you have coming. Cullen should give Chelly a rematch considering Chelly got robbed. Oh, man. Yeah, 100%. Definitely. 100%. Give Chelly a rematch. That was bullshit. Man, Cullen won, 2 rounds max in that fight. And they gave it a draw. That was bullshit. Seriously, man. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. We got to big up Adrian. Big up G-Man. If Brook managed to get fights against Garcia, Spencer turn back in 2015, I think it would have gone. Well, he would have beat Garcia, I think. I always would have picked Kell Brook over Garcia. Garcia would have struggled against Kell Brook, I think, just from the style. Garcia hates it when guys box him. He loves it when guys come at them. Spence in 2014-15, he would have won because Spence wasn't the finished article. So I reckon Kell Brook would have been able to deal with Kell Brook, or he would have been able to deal with Spence then. Thurman, I probably would have picked Thurman to win that fight. They're talking about a prime Thurman. There. Emeka Herring, what's good, G-Man? That's all good. Big up, big up. E-Machine says, thoughts on Thomas Sheridan? Yeah, Thomas Sheridan does do a lot of good stuff. I give him that. He does come across as a bit arrogant and very in your face. I've listened to plenty of his videos. He's right, though, in a lot of the things he says. But he's very cynical. You know, he's very matter-of-fact, very cynical. His approach to people is probably not the... Yes and no, to an extent. Like, people will know what I'm talking about. I listened to one of his videos where he was calling people, whats, and, certain demographic of people. And I would agree, but there are certain people who I know who are in that demographic who I would still associate with. Some I wouldn't. Some of them I've just washed my hands clean with. All right. Because they've really just they proved themselves to be, fucking idiots. Simple as. But some are just naive more so than anything else. I'll leave it at that. So I still give them a little bit of time. But Thomas Sheridan does good work. Definitely, he is very abrasive. That's abrasive. Maybe that's not the right word, but he's very he's forthcoming about what he believes. I'll tell you that. But big up to you, and good question, by the way. Let's see. You think Crawford stops Thurman in 9? He stops Thurman, definitely. I think he definitely stops Thurman. Definitely stops Thurman. I think the same too, Devon. Remember, when you're cutting weight, you get concussed much easier. I seen actually that comment before. I didn't pull it up, but yeah, there it is there. Talking of concussions, it's possible Kell Brook got knocked out in camp before the fight. Add a hard weight cut with a concussion as a recipe for disaster. Pure speculation. It is pure speculation, but it's possible. I mean, like, look, fighters get concussed in sparring all the time. So I don't doubt for 1 second that can happen. And to be fair with you, right, what I'm thinking as well, what you said there has actually made me think. You're talking about Kell Brook, who's not done a welterweight cut in 3 years. So you got to imagine, like, kind of like all the, they do say it affects the brain, and if he's not rehydrated properly like that, maybe the brain is still a bit, fragile from the weight cut. And the way some people have said that, when you're doing a really, really hard weight cut, it does take away from your punch resistance a bit. Look at not Tim Bradley. Look at Brandon Rios when he fought Tim Bradley. He was a shell of himself, and he was getting hurt by Tim Bradley of all people, and he looked like a ghost after that weigh-in. Do you remember the Tim Bradley weigh-in when he fought Brandon Rios? That was bad. Looked like a ghost in there. But Brook's last 7 fights, 147, 160, 147, 154, 150. Yeah, I mean, that right there was a recipe for disaster right there. Jesus. The landscape is there for Crawford. Beat a washed-up Brook who knows how spent punch resistance is going to be after the accident. Thurman seems done. Yeah, Thurman seems done. Danny's been around forever. Yeah, Danny's been around forever. But it'd be interesting to see if Danny Garcia, if this was the Spence, like, pre-car crash, he beat Danny Garcia on points. Peeps, give me 1 sec. As you know, I always have a fire on, but I need to switch it off because it's getting too hot in here. All right, there we go. Yeah, now people know it's routine in these live streams. If I'm not streaming in my bedroom, then I put a fire on and it gets too flipping hot in here, so I need to switch it off. But yeah, Crawford. My opinion, I've always felt that Crawford beats Spence. Always felt that Crawford would beat Spence. I think with regards Thurman, Thurman seems like he's away with the fairies at this stage. He is done. That's what I think. I think Thurman is finished. And Danny, he beat Danny. I still think he beat Danny Garcia. I think Danny Garcia, he's been around for a while, but I think Danny Garcia is officially found, like, he's world level, but he's not elite, if you know what I mean. Like, he's a great world level, solid world level fighter, but in terms of adjustments, he won't make adjustments in the fight. No way. The division is there for the taking for Crawford. I agree. He's the most fresh and most focused. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. 100% agree. 100% agree. Crawford is punching more down Punching is more down to his impeccable timing. Kell Brook did say that. He said, like, look, he hits hard, but it was the timing. And you know, it's the shots you don't see coming are the ones that hurt the most. And I don't think he definitely didn't see that. He stepped in with a jab and was caught with a right hand from a southpaw stance. I'm pretty sure Crawford was in the southpaw stance. And there you go. Another fantasy matchup, Lewis versus Holmes. I'm going with Lewis. Would I go with Lennox or would I go with Larry Holmes? Holmes. No, I go with Holmes in that one. I go with Holmes. The Usyk Rock and Allen clip is on. Really? I'm gonna look that up on IFL now. I'm not gonna show it, by the way. But let's see it. Is it standalone? Okay, yeah, no. I want to watch this. I've the phone muted, so I'm not going to play it, but let's have a look-see, right? Is your debt keeping you up at night? Fuck the debt. Jesus. Okay, so yeah. Jesus. Alan, hands down. Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, man, he's hurt bad in that clip. Let's look at that again. Jesus, he was hurt bad in this. Let's look at this again. So his hands are way down. No head movement at all. Usyk moves a little bit to the right. Throws a left hand, and let's look at that one more time. Left hand bang on the chin. Allen is done. He is done. He's holding on to, like, Usyk is hanging on to him. And yeah, they looking to stop. Oh no, they're back on. Straight away back on. And you can see Usyk is not throwing as hard as shots now. Wow. Jesus. Go and look at that on IFL, lads. Defo recommend giving it a look at. I'm glad I didn't have to go on Instagram to find that now, but wow. Yeah, it looked like a decent shot that Usyk hit him with, to be fair. But geez, I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming at all. It's weird, like, you know, it's weird seeing Allen noticeably hurt. Like, the legs done a dance there in that clip I seen. The legs done a dance, and that's weird because normally with Allen, he just tends to just march forward, maraud forward. And you're talking about a Dave Allen as well, who he's been hit with guys who are noted bigger punchers with smaller gloves. Like, I mean, that there's 16-ounce gloves. And he's been hit by guys like Luis Ortiz, who are noted as being big punchers with 8 or 10-ounce gloves. Jesus. And sparring gloves will be a lot more foamy. So he was hit with, I think Ortiz, when he hit him, was using Rival or Ex-Guerrero. They're puncher's glove. So you're using sparring gloves, which are a bit more foamy as well. Minimax asks, I want to see an epic fight between, oh, Jesus, no, heaven, no. Oh, that's Zilly Zhang. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Zilly Zhang. I mean, fuck, man. No. Allen could barely. Yeah. Usyk was holding him up. Jesus. It was bad. The clip's on his Insta. Well, it's on IFL as well. I'm surprised they what the fuck? Right there. Look at this. Really? 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 Oh. Why? G-Man's socks. Why? Who has that kind of time to do that? Oh, boy. 2 secs. There we go. I mean, seriously, like, who has that kind of time? Who the fuck has that kind of time these days? Anyway, moving swiftly on from that was stupid. Let's see, where were we? I lost where I was there because I seen that pop through and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, he was meant to fight Cox. He was meant to fight Cox. He was meant to fight Cox. Remember Usyk destroyed Harley Quinn? He did. He destroyed Harley Quinn. People give Harley too much credit for that fight. They really do. They give him way too much credit. He done well for the first 3 rounds. And for those who don't know who Harley Quinn is, Tony Bellew. We call him Harley Quinn on this channel. As you can tell by the video I done today when I had Harley Quinn running in the thing when I had him. Yeah, like, I really just... Usyk is a lot better. Usyk will cause problems at heavyweight, definitely. He will definitely cause problems at heavyweight. And the clip is on IFL. Yeah, it is on IFL. If anyone wants to see it, IFL TV, the clip of sparring is there. That's the first thing I thought. Like literally, when I heard Dave Allen retiring today, I said it in the video I done. Now I didn't, as I said to earlier on in the chat, I was like, I didn't necessarily think it was him getting hurt by Dave Allen or hurt by Usyk. But I said to myself, I was like, I reckon something happened in that training session or in that camp, and it was like it was probably like that he saw how far off he was compared to like, Usyk or whoever else was in that camp, and he just probably thought, do you know what, fuck it, I can't do it. That's what I think. But seeing that clip, it's obviously shown Dave Allen that he's obviously look, Dave Allen is not fresh. I know he's only 28 years old, but he's definitely not fresh. But that clip there shows just how far he's fallen. Like, I've never seen his legs do a dance like that. That was crazy. I mean, I couldn't believe that. And people say Usyk can't punch. I mean, he definitely can. We got big up to Dell, big up G-Man every time. Hashtag G-Man's rocks. Big up to you, Dell. Glad you're in the chat, man. Thanks a million for locking in. Go check out Dell's channel. Most people have, but if you haven't, big up to Dell every time. Big up Blue Collar Sports TV. Check his channel out every single time. I want to know your thoughts, Dell. Dave Allen's retired. I want to know your thoughts. And have you seen the clip of him getting buzzed by Usyk? I want to know your thoughts on this, man. Jesus, it took me by surprise. But that's the first thing, as I said in the video I done today, that's the first thing I thought was like something happened in that training camp. Whether it was him getting schooled or whether it was him getting beaten, something happened and he was like, fuck it. I can't hang with these guys. Seems his reputation is based on hard sparring sessions he gave Mayweather. Who is that? Oh, that's Spence, is it? We talking about Spence there, or yeah. I had a headache this week after getting bashed up in one of my first sparring sessions. That was without cutting weight. Oh, I've had headaches after spars before. I've had bad headaches after spars before. I don't think I've ever been. I've never been concussed. Definitely haven't been concussed, but I've had bad spars and I've had like strong headaches for 2 days after. It's not nice. It's not a nice feeling. I'd imagine Dave Allen I imagine his head was completely gonzo after that, man. Seriously. MVG, Michael Van Gerwen. Hey, G, man. Big up to you, man. Big up to you. You think Usyk is going to fight? Or you think Fury's going to fight Caballero in 22? I don't know what he's going to do, man. They might just, maybe what they want to do, maybe Fury's just decided to himself, do you know what? As much as I could fight in 2020, as I could fight December 5th, I really want fans. So maybe he's just thinking if he has a voluntary and if he fights Caballero, if he fights him in the Royal Albert Hall, he just wants fans there. Maybe that's what he's thinking. Or if he has a fight, he just wants fans in attendance. Or maybe he's more worried about this whole Wilder situation than we give him credit for. Not because he's afraid of, fighting Deontay Wilder, nothing like that. I don't think he's worried about that at all. I think he's more just like wondering what's going on with this whole Wilder situation with regards like the lawyers and all that getting involved. Maybe they will turn around and say, you know what, just give Wilder his fight and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe something like that. I don't know. It's a fucking shit show. I read that, but yeah, no, we need to get that rematch. Just seeing the clip, what the fuck was Allen doing? I know, man. Hands down, no head movement, walked into a shot. It was a good shot from Usyk, to be fair. It was like a left, kind of straight left, a la straight hook. It was a good shot from Usyk, to be fair. People say Usyk is too small, but the same people would say Fraser Marciano would destroy modern. Yeah, I know. Some people do say that. It's weird. Usyk is the exact same size as Ali. Yeah. Usyk reminds you he's similar dimensions to Ali in terms of weight, everything. But yeah, people will say he's too small, but he's a lot more skilled than a lot of these guys. And don't underestimate what the skill can do. Seriously, don't underestimate that. Don't underestimate that at all. Wadley versus Latte should be a good little scrap. Wadley doesn't seem to hit as hard as Dubois. I think he'll go the distance like Gorman. Yeah, I think that as well. I think that he will go the distance. Wadley doesn't seem to have the brute force of Daniel Dubois. Well, I'm happy about that fight. I am, because originally we were meant to get fucking Lucas Brown. I haven't sworn much in this stream, so I'm hoping that's all right. We were meant to get Lucas Brown versus Wadley, and that was real. Like Lucas Brown, really, really. At this stage, Lucas Brown is washed up beyond belief. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, for the love of you know what, I was like, I don't want to see that. I was like, no, don't give me bloody you know what. Don't give me Lucas Brown versus Wadley. That's just an easy win. This is going to be a little bit trickier. It's going to be a bit harder. So I am happy about that. Babbage will probably be on the AJ undercard. Yeah, well, if he gets rid of head the ball fairly quick, what's his name? Tom Little. If he gets rid of him fairly quick, they might get him out there again. You never know. It's only 2 weeks or so after. So they might end. No, it's more than that actually. It's like 3 weeks. But they might get him out. No, it is 3 weeks. They might get him out on that show. Who knows? Like I said, Babbage needs to. He's fought 3 opponents in around the same levels. You know, he's fought Winters, he's fought Kennedy, now he's fighting Little. So not great. Little's probably the worst out of all 3. You know, it's mad, isn't it? Right? You start with the hardest first, because in my opinion, the best out of all 3 of them was Winters. So you start with Winters first, then you get Kennedy in, and then you get Tom Little. So he's not been fighting great opposition at all. So it is what it is, though. It is what it is. And Devon says he can't post a link here. I can post a link. I'll post it now in a sec. If you give me 2 secs, I'll post it. For anyone who wants to see Dave Allen, I'll just, because that fucks with the camera when I do that. I'll post a link in here now in 2 secs. Yeah, anyone who wants to see the clip of him getting absolutely wobbled by Alexander Usyk, I'll post it in this chat for you now. Yeah, just give me a sec. I'll go on to IFH. Make sure that the sound's not playing on this, and I'll get it down for you. But damn, people, I was like, I couldn't believe that when I seen it. It was like, what the hell? I was like, what the hell when I seen it? It was like crazy. Just crazy seeing that. Yeah, we go. Copy link. And where are we? We go post this here. Paste. Here we go. I don't know why. Oh yeah, I think you need a wrench to post a link. And yeah, I don't think I actually have that. But yeah, it's in the link there. It's down the bottom if anyone wants to check that out after this stream. It's there for you guys. It's not long. It's in the first, like, you get through that silly little part of, is your debt keeping you up at night? Fucking stop it. Fucking stop saying, I fucking hate that. Is your debt keeping you up at night? Is Shannon Courtney still single? That's all that goes on in Coogan's head. That's all that goes on in Coogan's head. Is your debt keeping you up at night? Has Shannon Courtney fought yet? Are her socks still for sale? Oh, I thought you actually meant footage of Spartan. No. Well, a little bit of footage. Do you think Eddie Hearn will be happy deep down Brook lost like that? I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say no. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say no. No. They did have a good relationship. I'm hoping not. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say no. I'm sure he probably did feel something for Kell Brook. I'm sure he did feel something. This is gonna be a great fight. Little seems more focused. It'll be a good test Babbage. I'll be interested to see how Little goes. All right, I'll be interested. I think someone earlier in the chat said that they think Little is better than Kennedy. Where did I say that? Yeah, it was JPK said that you think Little's better than Kennedy. Little, I don't know. Like, I mean, I've no reason to big up Niall Kennedy at all anymore. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say probably he will do better than, what's the guy's name? That he'll do better than Little will. I don't have no reason to big him up at all. At all, I have no reason to. So I'm just saying that just based on what I've seen. But you think Little's better than Kennedy? Nah, give Kennedy the benefit of the doubt and say he's probably a little bit better. Just ever so slightly. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, his ego's already been hurt enough, so I'll not crush it again. Everybody like the video so more people see the live. There you go, man. Now, I haven't said it. Just comment on screen. Comment on screen. Comment is on screen. I always look forward to G-Man streams, good people. That's what I want, man. I don't want I like the fact that we got that little idiot earlier who put that part fake account on. Like literally took my fucking YouTube avatar and popped on it. Yeah, little fool. But I don't know why people do it. How they have that much fucking time, like to go and I don't know, man. It's funny. But yeah, and I always like getting good people in here. As I say, if Hatman's not gonna stream one of the days during the week, you can always get me doing it. So you always get a choice, and you love the streams. I love doing them. I mean, to think I never done these for. I used to hate, well, not hate doing them, but I used to just not really get into doing these live streams. I used to never get into doing them, but I do them now. I love doing these now. A question here, straight question, bro. And me and you know each other years. I respect your thoughts, but do you honestly think Brook had any chance? I personally think Crawford's the most underrated. No, I didn't think Brook had really any chance, mate. I didn't think he had any chance at all. I thought he might be fiddly for a round or two, like I said, like I saw last night, but I thought he'd end up getting stopped, and that was what I thought. Like that's what I had in my prediction league. I had him to lose in 10 rounds, I think. He obviously didn't lose in 10. It was a lot quicker than that. I was surprised by that, actually. I was actually really surprised by that. But I knew Kell Brook wouldn't win. Like I would have been very surprised if he'd won. Pleasantly surprised, but I would have been very surprised if he won the fight. I thought he could have bothered Crawford, but never was I going to think he was going to win. Never. And especially considering the fact he'd not made the weight in 3 years. He'd have some rough fights. He'd had a few beatings in his career. I was like, no way was he ever going to win the fight. I just couldn't see it. Couldn't see it. Crawford's just too good. You know, Crawford's looked shaky in a few fights, like his last fight against that Lithuanian Klapanaskas, I think his guy's name is. But I was like, no way. I was like, he was never gonna win. I couldn't have seen it. Like Kell Brook, good as he is, but nah, man, he was never gonna win the fight. That's just what I thought anyway. It went that way. I was a bit surprised. Like I said, the only thing that surprised me, I didn't watch it live. The only thing that surprised me was just how quick Crawford was able to get him out of there, and how Brook's chin seems to have just gone. Because, like, Jesus, Crawford's chin is just gonzo. Or not Crawford's chin, Brook's chin is just gonzo. Because the shot was well timed, it was thrown well, but it was actually thrown from a southpaw stance, so it shouldn't have really had the concussive effect that it did. I just think that Crawford's chin is just, or Brook's chin is just gonzo. It's just gonzo. Someone asked me that question. What is it? Prime Mayweather versus Prime Pacquiao. Who wins? I think Mayweather wins every time. Just from a styles point of view, I think Mayweather beats Pacquiao. Prime Pacquiao would be more competitive, but I think that Mayweather is just keeping on the outside, keep moving, and that's really it. I don't think it would have been a bit closer, definitely. But I think I would have always picked Floyd Mayweather to beat Manny Pacquiao, irrespective of when they fight or whatever. It's just a shame we didn't get it in their prime. We got it 5 years after their prime. So I didn't see your predictions. Maybe I'm only one thinking, but I was very impressed with Crawford. What do you think? I've always been impressed with Crawford. I've watched Crawford for years. I've always been impressed with him. And for me, it's just a shame he doesn't get it's just a shame he's not got the bigger fights, and his resume isn't as good as it should be. You know, I mean, at 130, it's okay. At 135, it's okay. When he moved up to 140, it was all right. There was no one really around at 140. Like when you look at 140 now, with guys like Josh Taylor, Ramirez, Zepeda, Baranchek, Prograis, like these are all some of the guys at 140. They're all very, very, very good fighters. And you look at the guys who could potentially move up, they're all amazing. Like, they're all really good. When Crawford was at 140, you had Felix Diaz, who was all right. You had Ndongo, who really was never really that good. Like, he beat Ricky Burns. You had Troyanovsky, that guy, the Russian guy, who got knocked out in 30 seconds by Ndongo. You had, what's the guy's name? Relic, who got robbed against Ricky Burns up in Scotland. Who else did you have? That was really it. Like, Josh Taylor was up and coming. He was at domestic level. You know, Hara Davis at domestic level. That was really it. You had fucking no one at that weight when Crawford was there. So when he moved up, that's when all the guys started to come out. You know, you started to see progress. You saw the Jose Ramirez, the Josh Taylors, and all start to come out. Make no mistake. If Crawford was in 140 now, I still think he'd be the best. I still think he'd be top guy. Make no mistake about that. Like Crawford is very, very good. Very good. Katie Taylor has no power. Oh hell yeah, she can't crack an egg. That woman has no power. It's 230 punch combo. He can get her stopped. But yeah, man, that woman has no power whatsoever. That girl can't crack an egg. She is painfully overrated. That woman, painfully overrated. Like I watched that fight for one reason. I don't know. I say watched it. I covered that fight for one reason only. Right? Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. There we go. But fuck, it was painful. And I was like, no, man, can't do it. And then I watched that Rachel Ball fight. That was somewhat entertaining, actually, to be fair. That Rachel Ball one is actually a bit entertaining. She won some people were saying it was a robbery. I was like, what? You won barely 2 rounds. Rachel Ball won that fight. They're probably going to put her in there with Ebony Bridges. Ugh. Ebony, the maths teacher. The fucking maths teacher. And then who else? It was a shit card. It was a fucking shit card. As Dale said in his stream, if there were fans in attendance, that card would never have been like that. It would have looked completely different. Would have looked absolutely completely different. You'd like to see Babbage versus Gorman would be a good scrap. If Gorman comes in shape, I reckon he'd do. I think I'd go with Gorman in that fight. Yeah. If he's in good shape. If he's in the shape he was in against Latte, then you'd give Babbage a better chance, definitely. Definitely give him a better chance. Damn. Yeah, that was bad, man. That was really, really, really bad. Yeah, Winters definitely the best is faced or scheduled to face. Yeah, 100%. Winters is we'll put it like this, right? If you put Niall Kennedy versus Shondale Winters, who would you pick? I know who I'd be picking, irrespective of my opinion and my thoughts on Niall Kennedy. I'd be picking Shondale Winters every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. Easily, I'd be picking Shondale Winters. Seen a comment there. What was it? Oh yeah, Cash Farouk fought Mexican last night. He actually looked all right, Cash Farouk. He looked all right last night. That Dave Allen has taken some patience and sparring a bunch with AJ. Yeah, Dave Allen, I think it's all catching up to him now. I think that everything, like the sparring, everything, all the hard spars, all the hard fights, it's all starting to catch up to him now. Now we're really starting to see Dave Allen really, yeah, it's really starting to catch up with him now. Like he's getting buzzed in sparring with 16-ounce gloves. Deontay Wilder's scripture. Deontay 1-4. They'll always believe the word of Antonio Margarito. Oh yeah. Always believe Margarito. Always be hard. Always believe the word of Antonio Margarito. What does that say there? Bring it back up. G-Man, to get Josh. Oh man, if I could get Josh Taylor on this show, fuck, I would be so happy. Man, if I could get Josh Taylor for an interview, I would be fucking so happy. Get Josh Taylor on this StreamYard and do like a live chat, man. I would be so happy if I could get Josh Taylor on this show. I'd love that. Man, I would fucking love that. Imagine, like, that would be, yeah, oh man, that would be sweet. If I got Josh Taylor on here, man, I'd be so happy. Big up to Josh Taylor as well, every single time. Have a lot of time for that, man. A lot of time for Usyk versus Dubois 2021. Oh, Usyk, definitely. Definitely Alexander Usyk. Couldn't agree more. You think he can? I still think he can make an impression at this weight. Crawford or Brook? Because if you talk about Brook, no way. He should never go near welterweight again. Never go near welterweight again. But Crawford definitely is. He's the man at 154 or 147, I think. That chick Katie Taylor fought was tough. Yeah, she was tough. She yeah, she was definitely tough. Big old head on the cheek. Do you know the one Rachel Ball fought, right? They had the pictures of Rachel Ball, right? And the opponent, right? And those pictures of that opponent were fucking years old. Because damn, she did not look like those pictures in the ring. No way. Fuck. She did not look like those pictures in the ring. That's like a fucking like Tinder account. You go on Tinder and someone you'd be like, well, I've never used Tinder, but if you go and so I know some of the lads do. I'd be like, yeah, I see this girl on Tinder, but when you go on Instagram, she looks nothing like it. I'm like, yeah, of course she looks like it. That's probably about 5 years ago, that picture. That was what it was like. Katie is a nobody if she compared to. No, of course not. Unfortunately, um, we're getting they're pushing female boxing. They're pushing female everything now. But what can you do? You got it. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. You're stuck with it. Bit harsh, lads, on Katie's behalf. Your once corner could have thrown the towel in after 4. Katie's still the best Irish sports personality of all time. Probably is, to be fair. They've bigged her up that much. She probably is the biggest sports personality. But yeah, the corner could have thrown the towel in, but nah, I don't know. She probably is the biggest sports personality, to be fair. Well, I almost had rage trying to spell my buddy's name, Big Dan. Can anyone tell me what the fuck I'm doing wrong? All right, no. Wait there. I will, Tony. For you, I'm subscribed to Dan. I'll get the link to his channel and pop it in here now, okay? And anyone else wants to go over and subscribe to Dan's channel. See, I'm lucky. I can put. In fact, you could actually. Oh no, yeah, but you don't know where the channel is. Forgot about that. Give me 2 seconds. I'll pop it in for you now, okay? And anyone else, go and give. There we go. There we go, Zo. So Tony, if you want Dan's channel, it's there. It's in the links in the description. It's in the chat. So go over, give him a sub. And that's not just saying Tony can only do it. Everyone else can. Give her a big sub as well. What is this? Ken Doherty's. What the hell? G-Man, do you have Rachel Ball's contact details? Ken likes a lot. What? No, I don't get it. Oh, wait, I get it. No, obviously I don't have Rachel. I don't know Rachel Ball. I never spoke to the lady. Thank you, damn. I had a near blood vessel pop. Yeah, no. You're lucky. I can find it nice and straightforward. LOL Tinder. I mean, fuck, man. That Tinder. I remember seeing a video once, and some of the lads in the chat will know who I'm talking about, right? They will have seen that video too. So like Devon and Adrian, if you're still in the chat, they will have seen it. But I remember someone done a video of like birds on Tinder and some of the absolute shit they have on their pages. I mean, damn. Damn. Thank fuck that I know someone who's not like that. I'll leave it at that. Thank fuck I know someone like that, not like that. Because Jesus, that is scary when you see some of this shit. You see it, it's just like, whoa. You know, Craig Billum Smith, I'll inbox him if he's ever up for doing it. Man, that's one thing about this year that really pissed me off, was that I was hoping to get some media passes to a couple of shows in the UK and do some interviews. And I would have loved to have done that. But because I don't do, like, I'm not a big social media guy. Like, I have YouTube, I have Twitter, but I'm not even logged into it half the time. I just go on to look up boxing news, and I don't use any of that. So I can't be reaching out to these fighters a lot. Well, I can't reach out to any really, because I just don't have contact. So I would have loved to have done some interviews, but man, if I could get even, I'd love to interview. I'd love to ask about the Reactpor fight and the rematch. I'd love to ask him about that. And the same with Josh Taylor, man. I'd love to get those on. Like, whether it be Skype or whether it be StreamYard, I'd probably StreamYard is easy. Like, StreamYard is so easy to do an interview on. It's not even funny. You don't have to edit it. You don't have to do anything. Like, it's like me when I have like Dell or Mark on. All I do is I just send them a link. I'll email them a link if I don't want like everyone coming on. And there you go. You have a chat, you have everything, and you have like the little live chat here as well, asking questions as well, which is actually better, because it's not just, I think it's better if you do it on StreamYard, because at least you're the one asking the questions, but you also have the chat as well to, you know, say there's a question maybe you don't remember, or something maybe you think, oh, I should have asked them that. You have the chat as well, maybe asking the questions as well. So it's always good to I like StreamYard for doing interviews. Personally, I think it's a good way to get an interview across. He's some rambling only for Tinder. Oh Jesus, man. Yeah. Oh man. I don't, even before, you know, hashtag G-Man's rocks, I never was even remotely interested in something like Tinder. It's just, any of them dating websites or dating apps, they just don't interest me. You know, I don't begrudge people who use them. I know plenty of people who use them, But I just no. I just sent a clip of what you said about Taylor to Ben Davison and a link to the live chat in your channel. Wow, man. Appreciate that. But no, man, always big up Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's all you see, Josh Taylor always struck me as being he always just struck me as being just cool. Like even before everything. Do you know what sort of way? Like even before everything in 2020, he always just struck me as just such a cool, kind of laid back kind of guy. And I big Josh Taylor up every time. But 2020, what I've seen from him so far this year, I mean, I'm just like the man deserves a round of applause. Seriously. Him and others like Luke Keeler, Frank Buglioni, they all deserve a massive round of applause. Dave Colwell in particular, like if you've ever seen the IFL interview we did, I mean, that was brilliant. I want a big up JJ's 11. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. I really do appreciate it. Really, truly appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. What do you think of the Francisco Maloney debacle? How Bird is still involved in boxing? Robert Bird, man, he's had his fair share of controversies. But I watched it. I didn't do a review of it, but I watched it. It's just ridiculous. It's just jabs were landing. I mean, put it like this, right? That would be like what happened with that. That's almost like we saw the fight on Friday against Bentley versus Heffron. That would be similar to them saying that fight should be stopped with an accidental clash of heads when you can clearly see the right hands from Bentley caused the damaged eye. That's exactly what this is like. That is exactly what this is like. It was absolutely fucking disgraceful. Andrew Maloney, I feel for him because he should have won this fight via TKO and he doesn't. I mean, I think it was Russell Moore as well working the fight as well. I mean, he's shown good performances sometimes, but Jesus, I mean, it was fucking ridiculous. It was absolutely disgusting. So I hope there's something that can be done. I hope there's a way they can overturn that. They really should, because that was just fucking disgusting. Absolutely ridiculous. They should. If there's any way they can overturn that, I really do hope so, because the man was landing jabs, which was clearly causing damage to Franco. You could clearly see that, right? And just when I see even Bob Arum was saying, what was it you saying? F Vegas or F Nevada? We won't be fighting in Nevada anymore. Even he said it. Like Bob Arum even said it. It's just ridiculous. But that's my thought. And how are either Birds still involved in boxing? Because remember, his wife is Adelaide Bird. Remember that. I remember her 118, 110 scorecard. Adelaide 118, 110 Bird. And Robert Bird. I mean, Robert Bird, he refereed Mayweather McGregor, didn't he? I remember random shit about boxing. I really do. I remember random shit about boxing. It's mad. But yeah, no, that was disgusting. Appreciate the super chat as well, mate. Thank you so much for that. It really does. I always appreciate a super chat. I love it. Love seeing them. Fucking love seeing them. It's great. I don't need Tinder. They call him Crafty Ken for nothing. There you go, man. There you go. And that's what you want. That's why he's looking for Rachel Ball's contact details. I don't know Rachel Ball. I never met her. But definitely seems like a cool girl. Seems like a cool girl, all right. Seems down to earth. And Sky really need to promote her much more than Shannon Courtney. I mean, Shannon Courtney is pretty despicable. Like, she's not a nice person. You could just tell she's a, you know what. I was going to say something there, I was better of it. But Rachel Ball seems like a quite genuine girl. Seems very nice. Ben Davison is a cool dude. He seems it all right. Doesn't seem like a bad lad at all. I love that Taylor has been taking on tough competition from the jump. He hasn't he? Like, he was fighting for a Commonwealth title in what is like 6th or 7th fight against Dave Ryan. I remember and I don't think Dave Ryan at the time had ever been stopped. And I remember watching him. That was on Channel 5. I remember watching him thinking, who's useful? He's going to be useful. But then he had that fight on the Frampton Santa Cruz undercard, the 8-rounder against the Mexican guy. And he looked good, but he did look like he was forcing his work a bit. Maybe it was the occasion. And that kind of had me thinking, is he going to be okay if he goes in there with OD? He went in there with OD and he just looked amazing. And he's not looked back ever since. It's just been amazing. Dave Caldwell went in on that IFL interview. Can't believe they didn't get cut. Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised they left that up as well. I really did. I really was surprised they left that up as well. I really was. Really was. Yes, peeps, we got Robbie in the chat. Yeah, he was robbed. Maloney was robbed. It was bullshit. That's what it was. Maloney deserved it. He did. He did. And they absolutely screwed him. It wasn't Bob Arum. It wasn't any. Bob Arum was the one saying, fuck the commission. It was absolutely ridiculous. Kell Brook got robbed. No, he did. He definitely didn't. Definitely didn't. He definitely didn't get robbed. Robert Bird and his wife Adelaide, LOL. Yeah. Yep, the regular dynamic duo. There you go. There's the Joker and Harley Quinn. There you go. Mr. J. Mr. J. Josh Taylor versus Mikey Garcia, but interesting scrap at 140. He was a beast, crazy and punch. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like that fight. I really do. I like that fight. I don't know. Right now, I would probably favor probably Taylor slightly. I wonder if Mikey is a bit damaged from that Spence fight, or not because of the punishment he took, but just because of how one-sided it was. Maybe it's knocked his confidence a bit. Kell's one of those boxers that needs protection from himself, unfortunately. Katie Taylor, fantastic talent, coupled with steel determination, but worry her long-term risk. She's too much for liking. Katie Taylor will be around for a few years. Yes, she's still making some money. I don't know. I just can't get into women's boxing. Whatever it is, I just can't get into it. It's just not really. It's just not for me, man. It's just not for me. I only watch Katie Taylor for one reason. It's not because she's Irish. But Kell Brook definitely he needs to say grace and say goodbye. Thank you boxing. You gave me a good life, but it's time to we gone. I think it was encouraging. Aaron was fuming. Would love to. Yeah. I'd love to. They should overturn it. I want to see it get overturned as well. I hope it does. I really do. I genuinely hope they overturn that fight. Oh yeah, Bird was the referee. That was fucking ridiculous. All hell broke loose. I remember that. Jesus, yeah, all hell broke loose. And that was his. And it called, oh, he let the fight go on too long. He let an elbow. Like, seriously, right? One thing about maybe letting the punch go behind after the bell, but he let a fucking elbow go. It's disgraceful. Anyone seen Katie Taylor last night? Yeah, I watched it. I did. It was what it was. Crawford's gloves were loaded in Ingles by Kell Brooks Water. Look at Deontay Wilder in here. That's a Deontay Wilder excuse. There you go. Kell wasn't on the Ingles Pringles. He was destined to fall. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, no. Ingles Pringles. Shane McGuigan is a good coach in my opinion. I think Shane McGuigan is a very good coach. I think he's a very good coach. He's very good. Canelo stopped Smith with body shots. Yep. Have to agree with you there. Have to agree. That's what I'm thinking as well, mate. I'm thinking Canelo stopped Smith with body shots. Frankie Boyle do better commentary on the job. You know who do a better job on commentary in Sky? Your boy. Eddie Hearn, if you're listening. Although I wouldn't hate the job right now, but in maybe 6 months' time, then yeah, your boy do a better job. Your boy do definitely a better job. Yeah, I would love a Shane McGuigan interview. I wouldn't mind one. Maybe. Who knows? What else we have here? We got Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn said Smith. Yeah, of course he said that. Of course she'd say that. Of course Harley Quinn would say that. Always would say that. That's just, what can you do? Harley Quinn. Smith. Yeah, of course they'd say that. But you know what he's like. You know how bloody silly he is. Ken Slitter emails it. Yeah. He's asking for Rachel Ball's contact details. I've never spoke to Rachel Ball. Never had any interactions with the girl. Don't know her. She seems like a cool girl, but I don't know her at all. And even if I did, I wouldn't be just throwing her details out randomly. Wilder versus White, who do you got? Oh, Wilder, definitely. White's feet are too slow. We get absolutely lifted off the ground. How many rounds do you think Little will go with Allen and Babbage? 3 or 4, I reckon. 3 or 4, I reckon. That's what I'm thinking. You heard that Harley Quinn said Fowler beats Canelo. Honestly, like honest to God, that would not even surprise me in the slightest if he said that. That's how bad he is. That like if you hear like statement like that, you actually just think like, yeah, someone's not trolling. Legit, you could be like, yeah, he probably would say that. He says that much silly, bloody silly things that you think, you know what? Yeah, he probably would say that. Probably would say that. Yeah. Read that. Okay, well, we gotta go tweet. Eddie Hearn says we want G-Man's Rocks on Sky Sports. If Eddie Hearn came to me tomorrow and said, G-Man, or use my real name, we want you on Sky Sports commentary. And he said it like, and he said, we want you on starting in January. I would say, Eddie, appreciate the offer, but no, thank you. I have something that I want to do here that's priceless, and I'm not stopping until I get that. So, no, thanks. But maybe in 6 months. Maybe in 6 months. Can you do a video on what the F happened to Chris Eubank Jr.'s career? It's been awful the last few years. I have fighters planned for the next one. You'll have to wait and see. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil who I'm going to do next. But I have fighters planned for the next WTF video, and I am doing it on an active fighter. All right. And the good thing about the WTF is you can do them on an active fighter, you can do them on an inactive fighter. It really, like, I'll give you an example. I'm not doing this guy next, by the way. I'm not doing this guy next, but a great what WTF video will be George Groves, right? Now, I ain't doing him next, but I'm going to do one next month. So start of December, you'll get the next W because they're monthly. Because they take a long time to make, believe it or not. Because if you do the research, take a long time to film, and then you have to edit them. Like the editing part the editing part's a bitch, man. The editing part is a fucking bitch. That's the longest part. That's the hardest part. What the F is wrong with Alan sparring Usyk? Like that play. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Oh man, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. What if Eddie Cern said only do female? But well, look, if he came to me tomorrow, as I said, I would say no. And if he said only do female boxing commentary, look, if he came to me in 6 months' time when everything's worked out with me, and yeah, then I'd say like fine, just to get my foot in the door, I'd do it. But if you said only do female, I'd do it. I'd have to bite my tongue and be like, yeah. But if it got me foot in the door, then I probably would do it. You love the WTFs. Yeah, everyone seems to like them. Everyone seems to like them. They're a good little idea. I figured it out fairly quickly that people prefer a downfall story than a rags to riches. Like if you've done a story on like a fighter, like, you know, just say for argument's sake, Johnny Nelson, someone who started off like losing and they rose to world level, title level, and they stayed there. People are like, But if you're talking about a fighter who's like, they were here 1 minute and then they were way down there the next, they're like, oh, I want to know about that. You know, it's weird. People love a good downfall story. It's weird. I don't know why. People love a good downfall story. It is, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, it's very that sparring Usyk. Well, sparring him like that was just, I didn't get it. I didn't get why you'd spar Alexander Usyk like that with your hands way down. It's just like, that is just asking for trouble. Do you know the sort of way? Like that to me is just asking for trouble. If you spar like that, you know, against someone like Usyk, man, that is just asking for trouble. That's not a good idea at all. That is very much a bad idea. Bad. I couldn't believe his legs did that dance though. That was the thing that really like just when I seen it, I was like, whoa. I was like, well, his legs. It's the first time I've ever really seen Dave Allen like properly buzzed, and that's inspiring. Like, could you imagine? Like, that's inspiring. And this is a guy known for his like tough chin, and I was like, what? It's crazy. Thanks for the link, G-Man. I'm there, folks. Go subscribe to Big Dan. Yes, Tony, 100%. And anytime, man. I can pop the link in here, no problem. But yeah, Big Dan, every time. Shout out to Big Dan. You have the link to his channel. That's the main thing. Wow, have you seen Bob Arum's comments on Crawford? No, I haven't. I'll have a look-see here and see. What does Big Bob Arum have to say on Terence Crawford? Oh shit, this phone is gonna die. 1%. That's danger zone. What did he say? Bob Arum on Terence Crawford. So Bob Arum asked if he believes Top Rank can keep Crawford after his contract expires October 2021. So he's expiring next year. The question is, do we keep him? Wow. I could build a house in Beverly Hills on the money I've lost. Wow. Jesus. Wow. Man, Bob Arum ain't happy at all with Terence Crawford. Fuck, I want to read that again. I want to make sure I read that again. Jesus. So he's not bigging Terence Crawford up at all, man. That's weird, man. That's mad. Man, he's not bigging Terence Crawford up at all, man. That's crazy. Jesus. So yeah, well, he's definitely taking a hit on some money from Terence Crawford. You have to imagine that. But fuck, I didn't expect that. So he definitely ain't staying after October. Hell no. And you know what? You can't imagine Crawford's going to be in good fights either. You would imagine now, like until that contract runs out, they're going to have Crawford in absolute stinkers. Like they're not really going to try and, help him too much. They're going to just put him in fights and I fight this guy, fight that guy for, maybe a payday here or there. 46 in the chat. If you could, people, I'm just going to ask one last. If you could smash the like button, it would be seriously appreciated. How many likes do we have? We have 43 likes. We could just smash the like button. It'd be appreciated, lads. Much appreciated. No way Crawford is staying till October 2021 anyway. Nah, man, I reckon he might try and find a way out of that contract. That's crazy. I couldn't believe that. Jesus. Adrian, what's up, G? Big up every time, Adrian. Big up. Imagine Alan did end up sparring Povetkin in Russia. Oh, oh no, man, no, man, no, man, no, man. That's not good. I see Dell's just uploaded a video about Alan retiring. And how long is it? How long is Dell's video? It's like it's 5 minutes. Once we finish up here, right, I am going straight to listen to that video. We're at the hour and a half mark. Are we gonna? I will keep going for a little bit longer. We'll go for another 15, 20 minutes or so. We'll go for another few minutes. Top Rank will go, you know what, where Arum bites the dust. Yeah, who's going to take over from Arum anyway? Who is actually going to take over from Big Bob? I can't. Who's actually going to run? But who is second in command in Top Rank if Bob Arum decides to, retire? Imagine Bob Arum retiring. What would he do? Thumbs up. Big up to David. Big up every time. Big Dan was seen in the red light area of Dublin picking up. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Thank fuck I don't spend a lot of time in the city. Even before lockdown, I wasn't spending much time in the city. Thank God for that. God knows what happens in there, man. I try and avoid the city as much as I can. Arum will even more mad once the numbers come out. Oh yeah, 30-minute delay. Oh yeah, man, that's gonna be yeah, that's gonna be that won't they're going to the numbers ain't gonna be good. Right decision by Alan, nice lad, awful boxer. Do you know what, right? Alan did have a little bit of there was a little bit of potential there. 48 in the chat. Jeez, the chat is coming to life now. 48 in the chat. Big up, big up. But Alan did have, there was a little bit of potential there with Dave Allen. But I just think that, like, it's put it like this, right? You give someone all these opportunities, right? You're on these pay-per-view platforms. You're the house fighter. For a lot of these fights, you're the house fighter. You're given all these opportunities, right? And you don't bother training. You could potentially move to a different trainer, maybe take it to the next level, but you're like, I'll stick where I am. It's like Dave Allen is the sort of guy where, you could say to him, look, you eat fucking chicken for the next 3 weeks. You could be eating pizza straight after it. But he's like, no, I'll eat pizza now. I was like, well, you can eat pizza now, but you won't be eating it after. But I'll have it now. He just wants to have his cake, eat it, and then go into the ring. But then, and he's even saying, like, his confidence isn't great. You can tell that by his interviews that he's not a confident individual. Like, he's knocking himself. I think that's the thing you need to remember. Knocking yourself ain't good. Some people say it like, it's only funny. Oh, I'm not that bright. I'm only funny. Yeah, but You shouldn't do that. I used to say that all the time, like I'm dumb and shit like that. Then I'm like, I ain't dumb. I don't knock myself like that anymore. And I think Dave Allen is still in that mindset of just knocking himself, and I think that might have a lot to do with it. But yeah, no, he's called it quits, and look, that is what that is. Jeremo, Benjamin, Evening G Man, and the panel, but he means the chat. Yeah, we don't. I'm gonna stream one of the days this week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Tuesday, and I might slap a panel on then, and we'll just have a chat. Maybe get Mark or Dell or someone on. Damn, you just want Spence Crawford. I want it too, man. I really want Spence Crawford too. I really, 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 really want Spence Crawford. That is a fight that I'm just thinking that I just really want Spence Crawford, man. That's a fight I really want to see, but who knows? Who knows when we're going to get it? If we're going to get it. Because I'm telling you now, I'm telling you guys now that Spence is not going to be the same. I'm telling you now, he's not going to be the same, lads. I don't care what, like, people will be like, oh, it's fine, it's fine, he'll be fine, he got out of the car accident. I'm like, lads, he won't be, I'm telling you now, he won't be the same. We'll see. I reckon we'll see jitters in the Garcia fight. I reckon anyway. Big up, G-Man. Yes, big up. And as our big up every time. Yo, G-Man, how you doing? Man, I'm doing brilliant. I'm always doing brilliant these days. I'm always, I had a great week this week. I had a really, really good week. So hopefully things will keep going that way. Hopefully we get the payout at the end. I know what that is, but I try not to tell people. But we're going to get the payout at the end. Everything's going to work out. I just know it will. Just, you get that. Just get that positive energy going. And I just know shit's going to work out. What's the crack with Canelo fighting Smith December 19th or what? I reckon they're just waiting for that. They're just waiting to dot all the I's and the T's, I reckon. That's what I reckon. They're just waiting to dot all the I's and the T's. But Callum Smith is going to get an absolute... He is going to get a Hail Mary beaten against Canelo. He is going to get a Hail Mary beaten against Canelo. Yeah, they will have to do that with fans, I reckon. They'll have to do that with fans. Unfortunately, he won't. He'll be damaged. I have to agree, man. I really think... man, like, Spence got fucked from a fucking Ferrari. Oh, yeah, I forgot someone did donate, so I can swear now, actually. I don't have to monetize. I forgot about that, actually. So I don't have to watch what I'm saying as much. But yeah, Spence got fucked from a Ferrari at high speeds. I mean, like, damn, he ain't going to be right. At the minute Danny Garcia lands, I reckon he's going to have some jitters. Salute to Jeff, salute G-Man and the chat. Crawford should give Bob Arum the Frank Warren treatment and shoot him. Oh, man, that was gas, man. Oh, man. Man, that... Who was it? What was the guy's name? He knows who shot him, and it was that fucking... Forget the guy. He was undefeated. But yeah, Warren, I mean, that just goes to show. I'm surprised. Do you know what, right? I listened to a podcast once. It's these real wankers who are in business who end up getting the most. Like, I listened to a podcast once about a year ago, right? I forget who it was. It was one of the lads was playing it. And he said that when he handed in his notice to the boss, he wanted to go in. He wanted to kick the boss's office door open and fire 3 or 4 shots from a blank pistol. And he said he had a plan. He got the blank pistol. And one of the co-workers said, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And he's like, why? Because of the law? He's like, no. Everyone hates that boss. He's a prick on steroids. He's bound to have a real gun in that top drawer. And he was like, yeah, you're actually probably right. I won't go near him. Hashtag G-Mans rocks, big up, Rich. Smash the like button. Yes, of course. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Big up every time. Big up to Johnny boy. Smash the like button, use cunt. There you go, Johnny. Salute G buddy, man. Salute to you every time, bro. Big up to Johnny's channel. Big up Johnny boys, Fight Palace every single time, man. Hope you keep it well. Hope it's all good over there, man. Hope it's all good. Hope it's all good. Garcia is just too small. Gives him fits in your opinion. You could very well. You could very well, man. Didn't know Big Dan. Someone posted a link so I could sub to the fella. Wait there a sec. I posted it earlier. I'll grab it for you now if you give me 2 secs. I posted it in the chat earlier. If you go and up, you'll find it. But give me a second. I'll post it again. Where's Big Dan? There he is. 84 subs. Hey, you're growing, man. Slowly but surely. Copy link. Yo, Johnny, 2 6. There you go, mate. Boom. There we go. But yeah, go check out Big Dan's channel if you haven't already. Spence will be mandated to fight Porter again. Yeah, you will. Mad to think that Porter fought that. He fights the guy Conor fucking Ben's fighting, and he gets a mandatory shot. Like that just shows how stupid the WBC are. Early prediction: Garcia upset Spence. Yeah, I'd go along with that. I saw Tony in the chat earlier. I want to actually big him up as well. Terry Marsh, that was who it is. Yeah, Terry Marsh. Big up to Terry Marsh. I thought my phone went off there for a second, didn't. G-Man, what do you think? Is this Crawford's best performance? Yeah. Probably say that. Probably say it is. Probably say that's his best performance. How long are we going? We're going an hour and a half or hour and 40. Lads, I'm probably going to call. Yeah, no, I'm calling this live stream here. So, lads, and I'll big up to Johnny every time. Lads, for everyone who joined late, apologies. I know D was streaming. And I know he was streaming there. So big up to D as well. Speaker Mind Sport if I haven't. I love listening to his streams as well. So big up to D every time. Big up to Johnny. Big up to all the lads in the chat. You know, big up to CGB. Big up to Jeff. Big up to the regulars. You know, no, we got Big Dan's. We got a link to Big Dan's channel. So we always got to make sure we look after the guys. So lads, I'm probably going to call it quits here unless anyone has anything else they want to ask that I haven't already answered. Crawford looked good against but Ndongo was he's turned out to be garbage. I forgot to remember Postal actually. Postal actually was a decent win. He boxed negative, but an intangible. Hello, goodbye. We're ending it here, mate. Big up. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. Thanks for the stream. Every time, bro. Every single time, man. I'm glad you liked it. Like I said, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll do another one. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow. I always do one during the week, but we'll probably not. Maybe we'll do one tomorrow. Who knows? But definitely during the week, we'll do another one. So big up to all the lads in the chat. Big up to everyone, right? Big up to all you guys. And yeah, lads, we're going to call it quits here. Tangible did join late, but man, glad you joined. Just glad you are all here. Thanks to everyone. Yeah, big up to G-Man's Rocks. There we go. Lurk, there you go, man. I don't know what that means, but thanks anyway. I'm assuming it's a good thing. G-Man's Rocks, Crawford beats Spence. I think so too. Lads, I'm calling it here. Hope you all have a fucking fantastic evening. Thanks again for everything. Peace, lads.